This is Cindy Benier from aududu Book Creator. In this video, I'll show you how to use our maze tool. To get to the maze tool, click on Activity Books, Maze Puzzle Tool. The first thing you want to do is set your trim size. We offer all of the standard KDP trim sizes. For this book, I'm going to use an 8.5 by 11. Then you want to set your maze width and your maze height. Let's stay with the 15 by 20 for this example, and we'll just do 10 mazes, and let's use the Roboto font. Again, here you can use any font that you've uploaded into your account. If you want to upload fonts, you go to Account Fonts, and you can upload any font you want to use on any of your tools. It will be there. There's other things that you can set, but right now I'm just going to demonstrate the maze width and height to give you an idea of what that does for you. Okay, so as you can see in the PDF I downloaded, this is the maze width and this is the maze height. So when you increase the numbers, your maze is going to get more complicated. So let's make this bigger. Let's increase each of them by 10. So this would be 25 and 30. Now we'll download again. And now you can see the difference between the two. This one is much more complicated than this one. So that's how you increase the complexity of your mazes, is by increasing these numbers. By the same token, if you decrease these to, let's say, 5 and 15, or let's do 5 and 10, let's do one that's really small, then your maze is going to become less complicated. So see, this one's pretty easy. This one's a little bit more difficult, and this one's even more difficult. So this is the way you're going to control the complexity of your mazes, is by changing those two numbers. Okay, let's look at some of the other things that you can set. One of the things you can do is randomize your openings. And what this will do is it will make your openings where your start and your end be different on every one of your puzzles. It'll just be determined randomly. So let's show you what that looks like. So here you see your starts here, your ends here. Over here it changed, it's again different. And of course, if you have bigger mazes, let's use a 20 by 20 as an example here, you're going to have a greater variety because there's more options for where your start and end position can be. So let's look at that. So you can see as you scroll through here, these mazes are starting and ending in all different kinds of spots. That adds variety to your book. But if you don't want that, you can say no, and then you can say specifically where you want your top opening and bottom opening to be. So let's say I want my top opening to be on the top left corner, and I want the bottom one to be on the bottom right corner. So by setting it to 1, it'll be on the top left, and if you want to set it to the bottom right, you're going to use the same width. So I'm going to use this 20. And then all of them will have the openings be exactly the same. So now they're all starting over here on the left and ending over here on the right, and every one of them is the same. One of the things you can also do is change the verbiage used. So right now it's maze. I could change it to say easy maze, and then easy solutions. And now the text is going to change on my puzzles. So now they all say easy maze, and these are all numbered sequentially, 1, 2, etc. until you get to the end. And then the solutions will also have the same title on them. And if you want to change, let's say you wanted to end at the bottom, at the top, and start at the bottom, you can just change the words you're using here around. And that will change it. So now it says end up here and start down here. So if you were trying to create puzzles for different languages, for example, you could put whatever language you want here and here and here, and then generate your maze book. So if you wanted to create one in Spanish, you could use the Spanish words instead of the English words, and then you'd have a book that's perfect for a Spanish-speaking audience. Other things you can change are the solution line color. Let's say for some reason you're maybe doing a printable or something and you wanted to have your solution line be in color. You can change that. So now on your solution page, your line is that purple color. You can also change the line thickness of your puzzles. So if you wanted thicker puzzles, let's go all the way to 0.1. I'll show you what that looks like. And now they're much thicker, all the way down to here. So that's up to you. You can change that around any way you want to have thicker or thinner lines, depending on your audience. So if you're using, if you're creating books for kids, you'd probably want to have your lines be thicker like this. Another thing you can do is change the font size for the titles above your mazes and for the text that you're using at the top and bottom openings. This is useful if you're creating books for children and also if you want to create large print books. So let's increase this to, let's say 30, and maybe make these 20. Now you see that your text is much bigger than it was before. It's the comparison. And another thing, the last thing that you can do with the maze tool is put whether or not you want to include a solution title page. So if you click here, what it's going to do is add a page between the end of your puzzles and the beginning of your solutions. So it's the easy solutions. This is the text that's here. So you could have that say whatever you want it to say, and then your solution pages start. And you have an option as to where that's going to show up. You have an option of where you want your solution title page to go. You can have it either be the next odd page, the next even page, or the next page. That depends on how you set up your book and the front matter pages you're using. So whether you want your solution page to end up on the right or left-hand side of your book, you can set that depending on how you're designing your book. And once you download these are all ready to upload to KDP. You're all set. The one other thing that you can do is add front matter pages and back matter pages. So if you use any of our other tools or you upload a page you created, for example, into Canva, you can say how many front matter pages you want, and then you can set them here from your files or your designs, and you can do the same thing for your back matter pages. Your front matter pages will be added to the beginning of the PDF before your maze pages, and the back matter pages will be added at the end of the book after the mazes and the solutions. If you have any questions about how to use the maze tool, please ask them in the comments below or ask them in our Facebook group.